everyone! My name is Amanda and today I'm here to give you my May wrap-up and my June TBR. Guys, we're so close to summer, it's crazy, and June is upon us in just a few days and I just can't wait. I've had a quite good reading month this month and I have a lot of fun books to show you, so let us just start! So the first book I read this month was The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagwa, and oh my god you guys, this book was so good. It is a vampire book and you know me, I am a sucker for vampires. Oh god, what's with my life? But this was a really interesting take on vampires because vampires in this book are really evil creatures. If you do not know what it is about a girl called, what are you called? Allison? It is about a girl called Allison and she's very poor and she lives in the vampire ruled city, and like I said, she hates them and every day is basically a struggle. But anyway, one day she is basically killed by these zombie vampires. There are two kinds of vampires, the normal vampires and the rabbids or zombie vampires basically, and she's attacked by the rabbids and almost killed, and then comes a vampire and gives her the choice: either die or become what you hate the most. She decides to become a vampire and she just has to deal with that choice, and oh, it's so awesome you guys. If you have not picked this book up yet, you need to do just that. And of course I give this 5 out of 5 stars. If my memory doesn't fail me, the next book I picked up was Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and I have read The Archived and The Unbound by this author and I loved them so much. Unfortunately, I was a bit disappointed by this book because it is such a hyped book and I went in with maybe a bit too high expectations, but it wasn't what I wanted from this book. I didn't get what I wanted from this book. It is a very different take on superheroes, villains, and it's very, very dark. What I liked with this book was the characters, and I think that Victoria Schwab did a really good job with blurring the line between good and bad. There were no entirely good guys and no entirely bad guys. But that was pretty much all that I liked about this book. I didn't think the writing was exciting, and that thing that the archive had, that just made you want to turn the next page and the next page and the next page. Well, I didn't quite feel that reading this book, and it wasn't slow, but it wasn't fast-paced or really exciting. But it was interesting and I am glad that I read it. I mean, it wasn't a bad book, but it wasn't a super good book either. So I gave it 3 to 3.5 stars. This month I also read a non-fiction book and it is The Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden, and this is the Swedish copy and I read it in Swedish and I don't really know why, but anyway. It is about a boy who escapes from a concentration camp in North Korea, and it is quite a horrible story actually. And to be honest, I did not enjoy this book at all. I think that it was poorly executed and I just didn't feel invested in the characters. I know it's non-fiction, but I feel like it could have been written so much more interesting, if you know what I mean. It just felt like the author could have done so much more to really... So I think I gave this 3 stars on Goodreads, but it is more of a 2.5 actually. But I mean, I think it's a story that needs to be told, but it just could have been so much better executed and it could have had a bigger effect on me if the writing had been better. After that, I picked up The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, and I can't tell you how excited I was to read this book. I have had my eyes on it for ages and ages and ages, and I just couldn't wait to read it, but I must say I was very disappointed. I did not feel invested in the characters whatsoever, and I didn't feel like the plot was interesting, and I just didn't like it. I had really high hopes for this one, and I just thought that I would love it so much, but maybe that's what actually brought it down, and it took so long to get into it, and everyone just told me that it gets better, but it didn't get better. The thing I really liked was the dialogue, and some characters were really interesting, but otherwise it was confusing and it was slow paced and just not my cup of tea, basically. And because I am a kind person when I rate books, I think I gave this 3 out of 5, and I mean, it wasn't the worst book I've ever read, but I didn't enjoy it very much, to be honest. So then I picked up the next book, and I just feel like I have flown through books this month. I read 5 1/3 of a book, and it isn't very much, but I just felt like the books I read, I went through them pretty quickly. So the next book I read was quite a heavy one, but still I read it in less than a week, and it was Cress by Marissa Meyer. Guys, this book was so good, and this series is just such an amazing series, and if you have not picked it up yet, where have you been? You need to put aside all your other books and just get on the bandwagon, because they are so good. This book is like 550 pages, and I read it so quickly and I loved it, and the events that happened and took place in this book were just This book is funny and action-packed and awesome and just the best of the bunch so far, I think. Or maybe it's a tie between Cinder and this one, but it was really good, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So if we are to blur the line between read books and to-be-read books, then I have to show you A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin, because I am currently reading this book and I am about 1/3 through, and I think I've done a decent job actually. It's so thick and so many pages, but it is really good, and I love it actually. Like I said in my last video, I am going to Croatia now in June, and I will be doing a separate TBR video for that, so I won't show you as many books right now, but I'm planning on reading a few books before I leave, so let me just show them to you. So like I said, I'm currently reading A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin, the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. Then I will also be reading The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, my first Neil Gaiman book, and I am reading this with a friend, and it's going to be so much fun. It is not even 200 pages, so I'm just going to fly through this, and I hope I love it because it just seems like such an amazing story, so I just can't wait. So the last book I am going to show you in this video is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins, and I got this as a birthday present from Helene Jeppesen, and I will link her channel below so you can go check her out because she's amazing. And everyone loves this book, and I love Rachel Hawkins, and I just can't wait to read this book. And it is contemporary with some paranormal elements, and it's supposed to be really action-packed and really funny and exciting and all that jazz. So I'm just really excited. By the way, maybe I should mention that I'm also reading Macbeth by William Shakespeare for school, and I'm not a native speaker, and the language that Shakespeare uses is It is so hard to understand, and I just... it is a pain to get through this book, but I am enjoying it, even though that's sort of weird. But it is a good book, and I'm going to finish it this month because I have to, but still really liking this one so far. Did you guys read any good books this month? And what are your plans for the upcoming month of June and summer? And just tell me in the comments. I would love to know, because it's really interesting, and that's the whole point with BookTube, is to recommend books, and I'm going low. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, because that would help me out a lot. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will see all of you guys in my next video, so stay tuned. Bye!